My name is Benjamin Swallow Duke, and I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. I grew up in Provo and Orem area. I began studying art when I was 21 years old, and I've been studying for 7 years. Well, I've been influenced by a large number of artists. I think the largest influences have been my teachers, and in particular my undergraduate teachers, who were like Paul Davis and David Dornan and Kim Martinez and Brad Slaw. Many of those teachers were figurative. They really taught me like the fundamental painting and drawing skills. Lately in graduate, I've been introduced to a wider range of artists. I've been influenced by Julia Heffernan, Susanna Coffey, and certainly Dominique Nahas. Well, my thesis show is about, or what I'm trying to address, is this question of the body of the other. And how I've been approaching that visually is by compiling figures so that they visually become one figure. I've been thinking about how people come together and form larger bodies, which then interact with other larger bodies in the world. So a way to think about it would be family groups interacting with other family groups, or the way that people in schools come to identify with their school and then act in the world, or countries, nations. I've been thinking about how individuals then interact with those larger groups. The way that I've been talking about it is an encounter with the real, that real being the truth of that larger group, and how those larger groups will impose their conception of the real on the individual. That's kind of what the images are about, and my thesis work is directly about that. They all come out of one painting called Vicissitudes, with me walking, and there's a large octopus. I'm not really paying attention to this large octopus that's about to change my conception of the world. But there's constituent parts of that. There's like the idea of awakening, and how when you come into contact with this larger body, then you're forced to see the world in a new way. And I was thinking of that as a kind of awakening. But sometimes we awaken into another delusion because we realize that the way that I was thinking of the world is wrong, given this new information that I received by my encounter with this group or other individuals who are part of the group. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have discovered anything that is more real than my previous concept and imposed order. My studio practice is a mess. I'm kind of a stirrer. In my work and in my studio, I like to cram. I cram all of the information that I can through books, images, photographs, magazines. And then I kind of just stir these ideas and images around and produce work. I like to cram the work, get as much into the studio as possible, and get as much into the work as possible. The process, it's fairly unpredictable in that I will change things and move things around in an image. I think it's like I'll start with an idea and then work with visual image that I'm trying to link with that idea. I don't know if I really believe in talent. In my mind, I tie talent in with just a desire to do something. If you keep doing that thing, then capacity kind of comes along over time. There are the few exceptions, I guess what we would call genius, but I think that the large majority of people kind of fall into this realm of the possible, and it's just the desire to do something that really drives people. So I guess I believe more in will than talent and work. It's more important to me, idea, craft, or skill. I see it as like my whole goal is to line up my intent with my visual production. You need to acquire the skills that will allow you to express what you're trying to say. I'm kind of a problem-based creator, and what I mean by that is I will acquire the skill that I need to solve any particular problem that arises as a result of my intent to express. I guess if you wanted to put it on a hierarchy, the intent comes first, which is tied in with idea, and then you find the skills that allow you to express that. How do I define success? You have to talk about desire and what it is you desire, and you really become successful when you trim back your desires. The way that I've thought about it in the past is connecting it with an idea of perfection, or we have these ideas of what it would be to be successful, or what it would mean to be successful, or these ideas of perfection, and I want to tie that back into desire and say the only real perfection is lack of desire.